Good morning, everyone. Welcome to FYI. For your information, I am Director Finance here this morning, joining you for another informative session. Guys, you know how we come to you every single morning. Today it is Wednesday, the 22nd of June, 2022. It's always a pleasure to be here alongside you wonderful folks. And as I go into the comments this morning very early, I saw that Beatrice was on very early this morning. Always there first. Beatrice, pleasant good morning to you. And Gavin Liverpool says good morning to Roberta Sheridan, the FYI family. Guys, how is it going at your end? We're midweek already. You know what I always say, make sure that you plan for the week. Make sure that you set out those little goals. Your checklist should be in order. You should be halfway done. If you're not, pick up the pace, as Sheridan would say, every single day. Gavin, I see you saying that we outside. Hey, Judith David joining us there this morning. Judith, Bartitians all together. How is it going out there, Gavin? Where are you joining from? I see Veronica Primo Rollins is here this morning also. Guys, how are you? Let me know how you are, where you're joining from. Make sure that you do your part very early this morning and share the stream. Absolutely important for us to get the information far and wide. It is no point in us just coming and consuming it by ourselves every single day. Make sure that you do your part to share the information. I see Magnell. I see you there. Magnell says she's watching from Water Park. Hey, Magnell, nice of you to join from there. I see Jasmine Shepherd says good morning, and Doretta is saying, is watching, as it is saying there. Sherry Baskin Greenwich watching from Barbados. Always pleasure to have you with us in the morning. I see Candy, Candy Lisa P says good morning, Doretta. You're bright and beautiful in orange. Oh, thank you so much, my dear. Good to have some colors on this morning. Dave Durella, how are you doing, Dave? What's going on with you? Pamela Johnson, where's your son, Sherrod? Oh, he's going to be here in a few moments. Don't get worried as yet. And I'm seeing Keith Evans says, good morning, guys. And I'm seeing Tessa is watching from Orlando. Lovely, guys. Lovely. Let me know when you shared. As you share, comment, share. Come on. Magnell Barrow, he's going to be here shortly. I see Spiceman is joining us this morning. Spiceman, thank you so much for coming through, as you always do in the mornings. I see Anthony Edmondson also is on. Good morning to you, Anthony. How are you this morning? And I see Anne-Marie Roberts joining us. Beatrice and Doretta, I'm on the bus, girl. Well, Beatrice is going to work. You know, when Beatrice is on the bus, Beatrice is on her way to work. So be safe, Beatrice. Make sure that you get to work safely. I know Beatrice has the opportunity to join us when she is at the work, so I know she's going to be on the podcast also this midday. Lynn Franz, hey Lynn, how are you doing? Lovely person, Lynn, joining us this morning there. Sharon is in the background shouting, tell Lynn I say thanks for the thing. So that's Sharon's code with Lynn, whatever that is. Lynn says thanks for the thing. I see Facebook users saying good morning all, and is it Rhonda Ferguson? Good morning, Rhonda. How are you this morning? Rhonda, where are you joining us from? Let me know where you're joining from. Ivory Brooms, good morning to you. Good morning. I see Ingrid King also this morning joining us. Quite an amazing bunch of people. Don't let me go into this whole, don't let me have to lecture to you guys when it comes to sharing. We have to do our part. It's absolutely important for us to get the information across. Yes, I want to say that yesterday you guys came through with the shares and you are on the mark, and I want you guys to be just as diligent today and make sure that you come through also with the shares this morning. So make sure that you do what you have to do. Magna Barra, yes, I did get a bit of news this morning. We're going to be covering it as soon as we get into the conversation there. Mr. John Jones, hey, good morning to you from New Jersey. Jersey in the building, folks. What's going on here? Where's Linden? I already touched base on Bartica. I think I already saw West Coast in the house as well. Where is Linden? Linden, let me see when you come through. And also Berbice, let me see when you come through as well. Matthew Dennison watching from Brooklyn. Brooklyn in the house this morning. You know, the New York folks usually just give us some complaints if we don't give them a shout out. And I see Amanda Kenzel is joining us this morning. Castle House and Scheme in the house. Good going for you. Coming through from there this morning. Joy Koja. Hey, good morning to you. Joy is joining us. Is where are you joining us from? Keep the fire burning, says Joy from Canada. Hey, lovely to have you this morning. I see Natasha also is joining us this morning. Natasha says, love the hair and nails. So yes, Natasha, I'm doing a little bit of changes along the way. Slow and sure. Roxanne Garway says, good morning this morning or so. And well, we see Marlon Lorma. Barbados is in the house coming there with Marlon. Marlon, what is going on there? Trinidad is in the house coming from Sharon Evans this morning is joining us from Trinidad there, guys. Well, I think Grenada has an election. And tomorrow, and I just saw Spice Man is actually putting that up. So Spice Man, we know what's going on. Alfred Smith says Antigua in the house. Well, Spice Man wants to be in your business. He wants you to say who you're voting for. Tell him there's a reason why this is secret ballots. So I see Antigua's in the house from Owen Edwards. Antigua is there. I see Melinda Pistano is joining us from New York there also. And Rhonda Ferguson says, I'm in Trinidad. She's in Trinidad this morning also. Trini people in. Trini people in. Yes. I see Ines is joining us from Linden. Linden came through for you, Sharon. And Spice Man says NNP, Sharon, for your information. NNP, right? Linden people coming through. Is it Miss Beard is in the house this morning also from Linden, and I see Maureen Coppins Williams is joining us this morning. Yes, Spiceman voting NNP. He's not keeping this thing a secret at all. This is something that he's speaking about. And I see Kenrick there watching from London. Always a pleasure to have you folks joining us from London. Always, always, always a pleasure. And I know Carl Fordyce, as I'm seeing it there, joining us from Trinidad and Tobago. Always a pleasure to have you on, Carl. Guys, what is going on at your end? I continue to say, let us know whatever issue that you have that you think that we can highlight so that we are highlighting it. Faith is in the house, and Faith is joining us from Berbice. Awesome, awesome, Faith. Let us see the odd folks that's joining from Berbice this morning as well. Absolutely important for us to see that. Marlon King said, Shara, like you putting on your makeup. Marlon, how you know the truth like that? Chandel Moses says West Side is in the house watching. West Side always comes through. Absolutely always a bunch of phenomenal people living on the west side there, you know. I used to live on the west side, I must say. I rubbed off some of the phenomenalness, if I dare say. And I see Osman Hodge says, good morning from the Bronx, you know. My goodness, you have a partner in the house from the Bronx this morning. You know. And I see Nicola Best is joining us also. Hey, Nicola, how are you doing this morning? And Francia Fraser. Guys, we have a lot to be discussing this morning. Very, very pertinent information. You know how we bring information, credible, blunt conversation. We go around every angle. We try our best to integrate every bit of your feedback, your comments as we go along the discussion. It's absolutely important for us to include your thoughts into the conversation. That is the uniqueness that we try to bring to the morning program, and we intend to continue. So your feedback is absolutely necessary. And you know how it goes, ardent viewers of the FYI program. You know how it goes. If there are things happening at your end that you want us to integrate into the program, you just drop it in the comment section. I try to be very, very keen on all comments so that I'm not missing out on anyone. Spice Man, I say, Spice Man says, please say good morning to Sue for me. Well, that's an entire different issue, but the Sue matter, we're going to be definitely getting into it very, very heavily this morning. But I don't know who can say good morning to Sue. I can start off by that because as it is right now, Sue seems to be missing. And that matter, I think that is a very, very serious matter that someone in the middle of such big allegations and all of that should be able to be accessed by the press to give responses at the very least. So the very fact that that person appears to be missing, is said to be missing, is very much of a concern to everyone. should be very much of a huge concern to everyone. So I see June Bauman is also in the house this morning. Marlon King says it looks like Sue is missing in action. That's very correct, and we're definitely not gonna leave that at that place. An individual that's in the middle of a scandal as huge as the one that we're looking at right now needs to be able, the press at the very least needs to be able to access him to get feedback and information. And as we're hearing right now, I think in the comments made by the VP yesterday on that during the conference rather that he did, he indicated that he can't find the individual. So very, very, very concerning comments there, and a very concerning situation if that is indeed true. I see you there, Willis. How are you doing this morning? And I see Edward Gonzalez from the Bronx. Edward, you have company joining from the Bronx this morning. Oh, thank you, Gwyneth Anderson. Gwyneth says, Miss Duretti, you look fabulous. Oh, Shard coming in to take his bit of those kudos as well. It's up to you, Brian. Hey, it's up to you, Brian. Brian, good morning to you. Definitely, it's up to you. It's up to me. It's up to all of us to create the change we want to see. So very, very good name that always comes through. I like to call that out. Clifton Smith says, listening to credible and valid information. Good morning to the FYI family. The information is extremely credible. We never bring information to you that is not first checked out. All the information that we bring to you, we do our background work. It is extremely valid. And the conversations that we bring to you, we don't say anything that persons can go and question the validity of. You know it's valid. Make sure that you share it. Make sure that everyone else can benefit from that bit of information. I see Vashti here, Vashti Magnot, joining from Waterloo, Canada this morning. You know, Vashti shared all your business. So definitely he's the one that's going to be talking about everybody else in your household and family circle. I am not too keen with the names as yet. So it's up to you. Said I don't understand the VP vindicated himself without an investigation. He bad for this. He vindicated himself without an investigation. That is an attempt. That is an attempt to swear and to deflect and all of that. Warren Figueroa, hey Warren, how are you doing this morning? Let me know what is going on at your end. Let me know if there's anything you need me to highlight this morning also. Okay, so I see Carl Fordyce is saying, surprisingly, BJ said he will not press Sue. He can't phone.
Can't find Sue.
Listen, no joke.
Can I come?
Sherd is asking if he could come. Just make your way through. Let me just give Sherd a chance to make his way through. Guys, you know how we are.
Hold on. Let me do the other way. I'll do the other way so we can. Right here, Julia. Maybe more smooth.
Jared is going to be coming on. He's making his way through. Whatever interruptions that you see is based on Sherrod Duncan making his way through. Nothing of my fault, but just his. So, guys,
blame Sherrod.
Blame
Sherrod for everything.
Blame Sherrod. It's blame Sherrod for everything morning. Anything that's happening, it's Sherrod's fault.
Yeah. Blame Sherrod.
Ricky's going to get a kudos as well. You know, everything's
you gotta give me a ticket.
If anything is happening good, then you will be given the kudos for that also.
You gotta be giving me a ticket.
Guys, as you give us a moment. Yes, so we have so much to discuss this morning.
Plenty.
We have so much to discuss this morning as we go into the news. And as Sherrod come on, I want to remind you guys that the big issue, as we've been covering it all week, is going to continue because the big issue seems to be getting larger, right? Monday, we started off with a particular big issue, and it seems to be getting larger every single day. We continue to get more information on this particular matter.
Credible.
And everybody wants to know what is going on with the Sue issue. Mm-hmm. The country needs answers.
Did anybody know did anybody notice somebody had their hair done?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Somebody had your hair done.
It was not Sherrod. It was not Sherrod. It's not a streak. It's not a streak.
What's the difference between?
Actually, it's not it is. I don't know why Sherrod went into this conversation, but what it is, it's like this. It's a peekaboo dye that it is like it's an under dye, so it just does like the front, and then when you part to the back, you can see like the colors. Like if you part there.
Your sister, right? Your sister's big one.
I don't know why I shared
Yeah,
into
yeah,
this.
yeah.
Very important information
Interesting.
out
Interesting.
here.
Interesting. I'm getting a little glare on this side, so a little glare, folks, a little glare. But good to see all of you guys. Good to see all of you guys. Thanks for holding the fort.
Thank you, Golly God. Thank you so much.
Yeah. We saw that. We saw that. We saw that. How are you guys doing?
Someone was noticing very, very early. We have some very keen persons that
Oh,
joined us. Yes. They don't play. They
oh my,
play.
the sharp.
Yes.
Golly God says, love to hear, ma'am. Right?
Oh my goodness. You see what happened there? Listen, so Latoya Sousa is there and she said, Madam, you are cheating.
Yeah. Look, Clifton.
No, she said you are
Tell
cheating.
us.
No, I want to get into this bit. Listen. So Latoya D'Souza, as you see there, she said I'm cheating on her. She's my hairdresser.
Oh, I see.
When it comes to anything concerning to hair and nails and stuff like that, she is my go-to person all the time.
Yeah, her sister spoiler, you know, a certain birthday is coming up, a certain big day, big number.
Yes, I'm cheating.
Coming up
I hardly
within 24 hours.
On my hairdresser,
so her sisters had a got you yesterday, right?
Well, there's some bit of salon work, but
notice the nails are getting a lot of attention this month.
Yeah, some bit of salon work. My hands usually get
hands get a lot of attention.
I think you were noticing it.
No, getting that glowy discard here, a little bright. It's like when coach just come out and a bright yellow.
Carl Porter shirt, you need a shade.
That's the precise thing. Precise. I'm trying to focus, but distracted. What we gonna happen?
Yeah, this is the Bella Buttons. You on the go.
What we got?
I have to say special happy birthday this morning. You know, to one of our most ardent
Whose
viewers.
birthday? Good people born in June. I want you all to know that.
What do you mean by good people born in June? You know, I wanted to pull.
Good.
I
Who's
actually
your other
wanted
birthday?
to pull up somebody. Oh, our birthday is coming this morning from Roger Norris.
Roger Norris! Wow. No wonder we get along so well with Norris.
Yes.
Yep.
So Roger, happy birthday to Roger.
Happy birthday.
Those who know Roger, just hit him up. Today is his birthday.
Yeah.
Roger is absolutely a phenomenal.
Yeah. You
person.
see, only Cecile says that my shirt matching with my. Once you know that, Cecile, we got a thing.
Your shirt matching.
When we come out, you know. Joetta's shirt match with the whole back, the whole set.
That is
blended with the whole set.
That's true.
Blended with the whole set. Good to have you guys here, guys. We're so privileged to spend this time with you each and every morning. We look forward to it. I look forward to it. I talk for myself. I look forward to it.
You see, Latoya says happy birthday, Uncle Roger. So Roger's Latoya's uncle.
Yeah.
Legit
fantastic.
Uncle.
Everybody in Bartica related.
I don't get wild. We're not like
Everybody
that.
related.
So,
you know?
Where is Sue? Colin Sandy.
Yeah.
Big question.
Where is Sue? You know, Jagdu said in a press conference yesterday, that trilogy of a press conference, he said, can't find him.
You think it was a trilogy?
The man has a thing in a house in his compound that Sue rents. He said, but I'm going to show you how Sue is a finding. Right? Them people got the police force at their disposal. National Army. They got SWAT team.
Roger, so thank you.
You know, SWAT team and all that. People can't find Sue. You understand me?
Cannot.
The hunt is on for Sue. The landlord and the tenant, folks, you never see a trilogy like this here. The landlord looking for the tenant, you know. House across the street, the man knocking the door there, they say, bring two investors to see you. Can't find you now, though. Can't find you. You should go back and knock by he door and see. I can see it, though. Sue, you in there? Come outside. Sue, I see your pot bubbling there. Sue. Folks, there's no country on earth like Guyana. None. You know?
No, but on a serious note, I think a missing persons report needs to be filed again soon. The police should be actively involved in looking.
No, but here is Mr. Jagdio saying that he's going to bring a criminal suit, civil suit rather. He's not going to prosecute Sue criminally. He's going to bring a civil suit because his good name has been sullied.
But then he said in the same breath that he has been vindicated.
Yeah.
By the press.
Yeah, he's been
by the piece.
So Sue really didn't do no damage, but he's going after Sue, and he says that he can't find him though. He can't find him.
You can't find Sue anywhere.
No, he can't find Sue.
Right? Sue lives by him.
But Sue lives next door.
Well, in his property.
And he says Sue is bringing over a lot of people. He went on to say that in the press conference. This is not the only person or persons Sue brought by, right?
Yeah. But that was already established in the Vice report.
Yeah. Interesting. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. We're
gonna talk a lot about that. We're gonna talk a lot about that. We're not gonna be just talking a little bit.
Tell us what we got happening. We got morning papers today.
We have a lot on the morning papers.
What are the morning papers? Sue on the morning papers. I'm sure.
Sue is on the morning paper. Sue is on the morning paper. Sue is under the bed, up under the. I'm not gonna read the rest.
And then Sue's a small man.
I've never seen Sue, but I certainly would like to ask Sue a few questions myself. So once he can be found, I would like to ask him.
Sue is the man, and the man gets all support.
That's the first question that I think Sue needs to answer.
Sue has all the
like,
support.
how do you get to that point? You get all the support. What do you do?
When you're big, you're big. Or in Sue's case, when you're small, you're small.
Well, when you're missing, you're missing.
When you're missing, you're missing. MIA, absent without leave. AWOL.
Oh goodness.
GT would girl has come. Everybody. I used to not scared of anybody. Let BJ bring it down. You're rich, GT.
It's too early for this.
I'm not going to tell everybody more about BJ doing under the table. Please tell us. We're talking about that. What is being done on the table. Priya Malik tried in the post yesterday morning. You all know the infamous Minister of Education. She said that she could do a better job than Vice News on this piece with Jadu. So apparently, Priya has more gritty, gripping info.
I said only your friends know your secret.
Yeah,
they could reveal it.
Yeah,
they know.
Yeah,
right. But Priya's looking at that thing. Priya said, "This is the only thing they got."
The only thing
like,
I got ammunition here, boy. Y'all know the things I know. I know I know the bodies buried proverbially. I know the bodies buried politically. I know the bodies buried, And if I know Priya, she buries some herself too. Right? And she just knows
proverbially.
She buries some of the bodies. She said, I know some things, boy. You get a camera and a mic and I go on the cover, the things I would reveal, I hope the Americans listening though, so she could do a better job.
Yeah, she may very well be called.
I say have a go at it. She's not only renowned for feral blast and so on. This girl.
I think it was Mudwater also that says he could do a better job too.
Like. Yeah, go right ahead. Go right. We got some time on we hand. Not much happening here.
But what that says, guys, we can't even get into the morning paper because of all of this.
So pervasive.
Right? But what that says, everything, every single thing, everything that has been said thus far, all it goes to is like, wow, you mean these people didn't uncover all of these other things that we know is happening right here in our country right now. But Vice did their work, and Vice put out the piece that they wanted to put out, and that was the piece that had to come out.
A man was indicted. The man tried himself, represent himself, and then come and say, I'm exonerated.
Yes.
I feel exonerated by this thing here.
But I'm going to sue.
Right? He feels exonerated, and yet he admits to a reporter that his credibility has taken a hit here. He says,
how is it that you were exonerated and your credibility at the same time?
His global reputation, his global reputation, right? Because he make times 100 most influential people. His global reputation took a hit here, right? It was a bizarre press conference yesterday.
The only thing that took a hit, let me tell you what took a hit.
Tell us.
The only thing that took a hit was persons' willingness to do this sort of business with him, and because people are going to be more careful, they're going to pull back a whole lot of businessmen, because if they believe that he is being watched, inevitably that would mean that they will be watched.
Jerry Kavayan think about that as a businessman. He writes in thing on Facebook. This is my friend.
Jerry's different,
right?
Jerry's different.
Susie friend too.
Jerry's very different,
right? Friend?
I have written off Jerry as being different. Like he's different. Like he does not seek to show any bit of balance and unbiasedness. He doesn't attempt to do that. And then we saw that at the level of the private sector and all of that. He does not even make an attempt to pretend to be unbiased. He has one line. That's his friend basically, and that is how he go, and he rep and he does his thing. So I never go into questioning it. I know what is going to come from Jerry. I can close my eyes, I can sleep for 10 years, I can wake back up and I
You
know
know
what's
the
coming
play.
from Jerry.
Yeah. You know what's different too?
So-
The other fella at the private sector commission, canvas his first name, canvas his surname rather. What was his first name? This was a guy who was wanted by the US, you know.
I can't remember his first name. Yeah.
I think folks alleged that Jerry recommended him as an observer.
Yeah, I think he came
Right?
under one of their
Yes,
observer.
as from
Yes,
the private sector
groupings, yeah.
commission. Soon after that, the Americans got him locked away. Now you see, they got some strange friends. All their friends end up in prison for some reason. You know, either heading to prison or went to prison or in prison for some
my
strange
goodness,
reason. You know,
crazy.
very strange reason. But we can talk about some of these things because folks, like we gotta skip all of the others. So,
Let us get into the morning paper.
you see the problem is the man had like a trilogy of a press conference, like 8 hours long. Yes, it was an hour and 40 minutes. But
It's an hour and 40 minutes.
yes, it was long.
No,
so
it
we
has to be more than
have
that.
to condense all that now in about half hour. You see the pressure we under here? The pressure, you know, sheer pressure. We under. Lena Williams says Jerry's a old scam.
So says Lena.
This country's know you know. It's a small place. You know everybody. Right? You know everybody. You know all the scamps, you know the saints, you know. What was the guy's name?
Birds of a feather.
I
I
try to remember
think
what's the guy's
Shirley
name.
Crichton says it best, you know, birds of a feather. And Shirley, what do you usually say?
Birds of identical plumage assembled together in close proximity.
Shirley has a different way of saying
Birds of
everything.
identical plumage. I heard that somewhere years ago. Birds of identical plumage assemble in close proximity.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Simple.
So that's what you're seeing there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But we will go into those discussions, guys.
Yeah.
Let us
We'll be there.
dissect
We'll
a
be there.
little
Morning
into
papers.
the
Morning papers. Soon the morning papers. Soon the morning papers.
Susan, everything.
You
But
know?
there are some other things happening that we must speak about, that we
Yeah.
cannot just go away from. So we're going to touch on them a little bit before we get back to this huge issue.
You know, you're talking
with
about that.
Sue.
I'm looking at the New York Times here. So, you know, we had a very ardent fan brought us a copy of the New York Times recently. And I saw this sprawling mansion here. And I remember Jack talking about his global reputation. I thought it's Prudhoe too here. But no, it isn't. Sorry. It's not Prudhoe. Right?
Sheriff's on the road.
It's somebody with a better global reputation. The whole house here in the business section of the New York Times. You see?
Not a scandal.
No, not a scandal.
No, just legitimate
property.
news.
Property. You see that? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But morning papers. Take
Morning-
it away.
Morning papers. One of the first things we want
For
to touch
we
on.
don't touch your money.
So one of
Go
the
ahead.
first things we want to look at is Article 13 amongst protests
Yeah.
calls for the renegotiation of the oil contract. This something has been going on for a bit, and I always say that that good governance altogether, any aspect of good governance, when you study governance, you will know that the cries of the people are things that needs to be heard by the powers that be. Persons that sit in public office as representatives, as leaders in public office, when the public is calling for certain things, that it has to be looked at. Those are not things you just sweep under the carpet or things like that. So I want to go through the morning papers very, very, very rapidly. So kudos to Article 13
hold
there.
on. I want you to run past certain things. Heaven faith say you can't stop sharing. He's buying books by Austin books. You see, people
Yes,
know
sir.
you. You know people in this country. It's a small country.
That is correct.
Everybody's know you. You know, people know you went Stouffville Secondary. You come from Barnacle Secondary. You end up at Queens College,
Yeah.
and so people just know you in this place.
Then to
Went
the-
UG,
yes.
did your first degree. You followed in second year.
Yeah.
You
I
went
did.
IFLOT, and I said you left IFLOT University. You went to UG. I asked them back, name churn. Right? No respect for Region 3. They produce you at Stouffville. You left them. You come Queens. Then people just know you in this country. You know.
Humble beginning.
Right,
I
yeah,
think
Gigi. Sorry,
that's my whole thing.
sorry to have
So
interrupted
kudos
you.
to Article 13 on that, guys. When it comes to protest action and all of that, I commend persons and recommend people go out, and especially this is a cause that you want to champion yourself.
Correct.
Go out
Correct.
there and join those individuals as they
As
do that.
As you're talking about
Correct.
protests, you know, there's a protest on this morning. I'm going to be down there just after the show. It starts at 9. Office of the President in Shivnarayan Chandrapal Drive, Vicinjan Road. There, we're going to be protesting. Voices will be heard. So when when the show's finished, boots on the ground. Boots in cyberspace right now. But after this, boots on the ground. We invite you guys down. You know, if you like VHS, you're on your cell phone, heading to work or heading to the market watching us. As soon as you type that, head over, Office of the President, Shivnarayan Chandrapal Drive, protest. You know, fraud is fraud.
That
Get
is
them not for sale.
Guyana is not
Yeah.
for sale. I think that is the overarching issue, and persons will be on the ground protesting there in front of the office of the person. So, guys, make sure that you make your way down there. These are things that affect each and every one of us. It is about your bread and butter, as simple as that.
Yeah.
So, make sure that
I
you let your
hope
voices be heard.
I hope I see Alia Waldron out there, right? Boots on the ground, Alia. So we're inviting you as well. Boots on the ground at 9, Alia. Rock and come in.
That is correct. Everyone that is here, everyone that can join, make sure that
Yep.
you join and let us know what is going on. And another bit of news that I have to touch on this morning is a body of a man was found in Sandy Bob Street, a building
Yeah.
there in Kitty,
Yep.
a body
Yep.
of a 47-year-old man. The police are investigating circumstances surrounding the death of a 47-year-old man whose body was discovered by the security guard on Monday evening. The deceased has been identified as Arvinder Singh of Happy Acres, East Coast, Demerara. So the police said in a brief statement yesterday that the man's body was found in the building on Sandy Bob Street, Kitty. That's the only information that is being available right now in the public circle. So as we get more information on this, we're going to bring it to you. But our condolences to his family, 47-year-old Arvinder Singh. So,
Yeah.
guys,
Thoughts and prayers with his family.
correct. And a bit something that's shared probably can shed a little light on as well. The new UG council yet to be formally appointed. New UG council yet to be formally appointed, and it is said the life of the last body ended on December the 1st, 2020. So we're in 2022, and the new council is yet to be appointed. But this is the administration that we've been dealing with, and this is another one for you to add to the list of the breaking down of the guardrails and all of those aspects.
Correct. You know, an important council, the highest decision-making body of the university. When I was student president, I sat there by virtue of that post. Very, very, very important body. The final decision for everything that happens at UG goes to the council. The academic board has a function too, but again, the council is the highest body there, and it should be functioning. You are representatives of government,
correct?
The opposition, UG of itself, the student society, and all of that represented there. Looking at the policies of the university and how the university moves forward, and that should have been in place. But them boys too busy, man, too busy meeting all kinds of people and so on.
Yep.
Their doors don't lead to UG and so on. So they've never been interested in UG. Richard, you did 4 years your undergraduate, and then I think a year doing your master's, and so on. And those guys have never been interested.
That is 6 years in UG altogether to get all of those things done. But they are. I think when it comes to the council in particular, I think I don't want to pick my words too carefully right about now, but be very direct and blunt as it is. And when it comes to the council, I think it needs to be put together. But we will know, and any person that actually function in your capacity when it comes to being president of the student society, student body, and there would know what plays out at the level of that council and how it is done. You think that parliament alone is politics.
Those were the best years.
That's what I can say about
those were the best years when I was student president.
Yes,
best
my goodness. Until we knock you out, yes,
best years.
And then we had our best years.
So, I think I just dropped, I think I just dropped a lot of the show. I've been through a couple of things.
Yeah. Parts of Madhya and Kakwani flooded. Very, very disturbing images coming out from Madhya and Kakwani as to the flooding there. And we are saying our thoughts and prayers are with persons, but more so, a lot of work needs to be done right now. A lot of work to be done right now, especially when it comes to moving forward and plans as to how you move forward with persons living in these areas, especially the areas that are prone to be flooded by high tide and so forth. Right?
I'm very happy to just mention that because it takes us into our what do you call it? Our brew for the morning, because this is brewing. We're in that rainy season and there's lots of flooding happening, some of it above normal. And this is the road in this area here, Caromero Hill. There on the Unamco Trail, the road has been washed away. It looks as though it is what you call a sinkhole. It looks like a giant sinkhole there. And of course, that's going to cause a lot of problems to traffic in that area. So some attention needs to be placed here. But if you're too busy, I heard y'all boys say they're busy. This body deals with parts of this body portfolio, and this body deals with this body portfolio, and so on. You can confuse the whole system. You can't attend to this because them boys might say, I don't know if Kwame might be looking at the road here because he might be taking complaints, or somebody else might be looking at this. So Edgy might say, Ghana to something else. I'm meeting with my own investors too. I'm meeting with investors in something. So, but the people here, Carol Merrow Hill, they need some help. And that's one of the things that this rainy season is producing. And as you mentioned, some other things happening as well. You got Madia, you talked about that. That's part of the flooding happening there, in severe flooding happening in Madia. This is actually road. You might think it's like a waterfront, with a little villa, that kind of thing. But it's actually road. It's indistinguishable from a river or a trench. That's what's happening down in Madia, or is up in Madia. Right? And that's happening there. And we also had Kokwani has a lot of issues happening there as well. And this is just some of the hardships citizens are faced with. And of course, if you ain't got the kind of money to build up your property and so on, you're in trouble. So the guy said Sue has all the support. So I don't know, maybe Sue and corporate duties and so on, corporate responsibilities might want to try to help these folks here, because he has all the support. So that's some of what's happening as you were talking about this very issue.
Yeah, very, very correct. But as you just said, if you have the money, some persons have the money, can build up their land. But at the level, especially what is going on in Kokwani, for example, and lots of what's going on in Madi, there's no amount of building up of land that could have saved persons from the flood waters. And that level, there is a lot that is needed from the government side of things right now. Let us not move away from that. A lot of work needs to be done, especially when it comes to planning. How do you move forward with these areas? You are acknowledging aspects of global warming and all of that. Persons claim to be expert when it comes to climate change and those things. And when it is tested, the people in the country is suffering because any aspect of planning when it comes to integrating the facts as is about climate change is not being utilized locally.
Correct.
You have people going and parading themselves around to be champion of the earth and all of that. These are things that require immediate attention as to how do you move forward. Persons' lives are being affected tremendously. How do you move forward? What is the plan moving forward to deal with these areas that are prone to flooding and so with high tides and all of that? You don't profess to have qualifications in a certain department, but when it's tested locally for simple things like a plan to how you move forward with these areas, you can deliver on that. Those are the real tests.
They're not worried about this because you know what? For this administration, Georgetown is Guyana. I saw, for instance, Jill, I think it was, commenting on the pumps in Georgetown and whether, Georgetown is going to drain during the rainy season. And more recently, again, on the same issue, I saw Minister of Agriculture install Zulfikar Mustafa also on the same line. Mustafa Lambasis City Hall, Ejil Lambasis City Hall, when you got other people suffering in this country. Right? They believe that Georgetown is this whole country.
Oh, you Lambe City Hall after you cut the budget?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Put every obstacle in the way that they can function properly.
You do every single thing. You send the administrator there that is doing things without the approval of the council, without the knowledge of the council. Then
correct. And you got local government commission hiring and firing people at will at City Hall and all
but
that.
then you okay.
It's interesting. Interesting.
That
part of the challenge we have as a country. It's part of the challenge. Yeah. Right ahead.
Yeah, but as we move forward, guys, very, very interested. But Transparency Body Executive Director expected today to discuss a validation report, and that is a very important piece that we're picking up here. And I don't want anybody to not look at it.
It's in the morning papers, literally.
It is literally in the morning papers. As I said, I'm taking this particular piece here out of Starbuck News. I always give Starbuck News and all the news that we look at
respect and manners.
We give them their kudos. So guys, you can pick it up. We Starbuck News, remember us, guys. You can pick up a Starbuck News. Very, very pertinent information there. But as I said right about now, The EITI board's validation report was released in April and indicated Guyana received a 52-point rating, which reflects an average of the 3 component scores: the stakeholders agreement, transparency, and outcome and impact. It says the exercise was conducted by comparing Guyana's performance against the 2019 EITI standard. It's the EITI board in its report expressed concern over Guyana's low score on outcome and impact, 42 points. So we've been talking time and time again about these things, these ratings,
Rudy
these scores,
Jadapat,
right? When it comes to international, share this on a point with this, guys. And let me tell you something. This is just one. This is this is in addition to what we've been saying all the time. We continue to speak about this. So we see here the executive director is expected to be here today to discuss this validation report and how they move forward with it. So definitely after this meeting is had, we're going to be bringing you more news as it pertains to this particular matter. But anything that goes with transparency, anything that goes with accountability, these people are going to be scored. The administration and the way in which they govern is going to make sure that we get a low score all the time. So lots of work needs to be done here, but we'll be following up on this particular report as we go forward.
Correct is right.
Guys,
Lots happening.
You know, there's a missing person report that I just want to touch on a little bit, you know, because it's
Who
important.
missing now?
There's a missing person. No. Well, in addition to that,
all folks missing.
You know, in addition to that, there's a missing person report that I saw circulating that I want to touch on a little bit. It's a 41-year-old man from Eccles is missing. 41-year-old Christopher Nichols is missing there from Eccles. And I'm speaking about this. I know his mother is the one that is making the report, and mother said she's worried about her son since he is sick and may not be in the right frame of mind. So folks, we will definitely be putting out a photo of him later on the day. So persons
is there a number they can call? Does anybody have seen Christopher?
I
put a number in the report.
The number that is being given right about now is the family member number is 698-6201, or what we're saying is the nearest police station. If
you see Chris,
know
the Chris.
Individual. And just a little bit of soft news on the soft side. You know, we're gonna be here a while today. Share this live because we're
I can leave you ahead to the protest. I got my boots on the ground.
We're gonna be here a while. A bit of soft news. As it says, Republic Bank and Caribbean Cricket West Indies have a fight for fun aim to honor the next generation of cricketers, and this is Republic Bank partnering there to make sure that young people between the ages of 8 to 11 is actually engaged, so that they can identify young talents from very early. So very much so, kudos to them. Guys, on the international front, you're going to see me moving a little fast here, but on the national front, you know, there was an earthquake in Afghanistan there, and at least as of right now, they have identified at least 920 persons were killed. 920 persons killed and 600 wounded, and that's the official reports that we are getting. So very, very, very sad situation there. You know, we have so much to be thankful for when it comes to the fact that Mother Nature has been somewhat kind to us. On this side of the globe.
Afghanistan got its own political earthquakes happened recently there, and still you're feeling some tremors. The Taliban went in, put on a whole set of restrictions in the country that was opening up, and now you have this to deal with and so on. You know, pray for the folks there, guys.
Correct. Well, GT Road Girl is asking, when is the protest? When is the protest? I think that's a question coming from GT Road Girl there.
This morning, 9 o'clock.
This morning, 9 o'clock.
Starts at 9.
In front of office of the president, right there, Shift Chandapal Drive.
Starts at 9 this morning. See you guys there.
Yes. That is correct.
But that's going.
Originally, I'm going to let Cher take you through this bit. I know it's a Spice Man that was bringing this.
Correct. That Grenada has its general elections happening quite shortly, and I think Spiceman told us who he was voting for. Not so.
I think he said NNP.
Well, we hope that they are successful. We don't want any problems with Spiceman, but may the best party win. The folks who got the better plan. For the people of Grenada.
The people's choice. Sit in office. You know?
I'm trying to get the name of those parties. They were just at my fingertips there. I think we also have them. You have them there, maybe right at your end.
Yes, the National Democratic Congress, the NNDC, and also the new national party, the NNP. And I think that was the one that Spiceman was going for, the NNP, which was a new national party.
Yeah, this is the opposition there. So Spiceman definitely supporting the opposition. We wish the people of Grenada the best. Hope you all don't have some clouded things to deal with. Hope you all don't have some go cold bulldoze there to deal with, and so hope you all have a smooth election and the results demonstrate the will of the people.
But one of the things,
valid votes alone is
correct. One of the things I want to say on this regard is that we are noting that the manifestos have been launched. The various parties has launched their manifesto.
Not an excerpt of manifesto.
And I want to say to the persons there joining us from Grenada, that make it your duty to read through these manifestos. You know, too many times manifestos are released, and so but persons just go with a preconceived idea as to where they should be voting, where they're going to be putting their X and on. Read the plans. You know, as a people, there's power in being informed. There's power in being and as the saying went, I think a man was the one that says, you know, informed people make informed decisions, and that is the fact. Informed people make informed decisions. Make sure that you go through the manifesto, read. We have to get to a point that we elect representatives based on plans and not based on when my grandmother used to vote and my father and my mother said and those nonsense, right? So so good luck there over in Grenada, and that's those elections coming forward.
Yep. Also, we have the Seismic Research Institute of UWI has also gotten a fantastic prize recently, Rita. You might have it in your access to your notes faster than I could. But I'm happy to see a Caribbean entity like this entity of the University of the West Indies that looks at how that monitors earthquakes and so on in the region, what they are doing. And because of what happened recently in St. Vincent and the Grenadines with Mount Soufriere volcano there, and the work they did there, they got the 2022 Volcanic Surveillance and Crisis Management Award. And this is presented by the International Association of Volcanology and Chemistry of the Earth's Interior. So a prestigious award for this Caribbean entity. Again, this is the seismic entity of the University of the West Indies that does the monitoring for the Caribbean. And they do fantastic work, really and truly. They do fantastic work. And I think days, if not months out, they told us what was going to happen there with Mount Soufriere. And I think it really helped in moving persons away from that danger zone very, very early. So, you know, respect and manners to the people there at UWI and this fantastic institution.
Well, kudos to them whenever it comes to any bit of studies done, research altogether, especially as it relates to the sciences. You know, we need that more than anything else. You know, you can park a lot of other things, but when it comes to science development, R&D altogether, I always encourage persons to go into those areas because it's absolutely necessary when it comes to survival of humanity altogether.
Correct.
So kudos to them there. You know, a bit of sad news as we move forward, a bit of sad news that we have to report.
Yes, we covered this before here.
We covered it before, but guys, you've seen the burnt miner succumbs 2 weeks after the Peruni attack. And as you will remember, let me just give you a brief reminder for persons that were not afraid with this bit of reporting. That says, you see the photo there, 2 young people there, the young man there and his wife, and those 2 young people were burnt. Those 2 young people were burnt because they were intervening, not even intervening. They were trying to offer protection.
Yeah, for a young woman.
A young woman that her ex-lover was trying to attack. Yeah. And he came with gasoline and fire.
Doused them. Doused them and then lit them on fire.
Lit them on fire.
Horrific.
And very, very sad, you know, the young man, deceased Sheldon Harry there. Listen, there's no way in which someone expects their relative to die.
But I want this guy to really spend some time away from society to reflect on his actions.
He's still being listed as wanted. Yeah. This is someone still out there as wanted. People, he's not just. I would not think. Let me just put it over like that he's out there living in the wild. So if someone is actually offering shelter and protection to him, you know, they need to turn him into the police. Wanted is Christian Joseph.
Correct.
And he's the individual that's wanted in connection with this incident. Now a young man's life has been lost. You know, young people, listen to me. Men out there, listen, there are serious consequences to actions, those split-second decisions that you make. And when it comes to relationships altogether, people need not get to this point
Correct.
of insanity
True.
that they can actually do something like that. You know,
This is the other
You know?
pandemic we're dealing with.
another pandemic,
This is
another
the other-
pandemic, a young man's life lost, something that should never get to that point. We have to be better. We have to be better in our
Much,
thinking
much better.
all together. We have to be better as a community, as society. Let us be better. Guyana is going on a very dangerous road when it comes to domestic violence and all of these things. Let us get better. Call it out.
Correct.
If you need help, seek help. If
Correct.
you get to a point that you believe you can't live without this person, you seek help.
Yeah.
It's a dangerous place to be. Someone is dead. Someone should be going to jail for this. Very, very
Actions
sad.
got consequences.
Yep.
Action has consequences. This next story, we put an asterisk next to it because I only saw MTV reporting on this on their website. I'm saying that the GPL CEO Bardindial has been hospitalized after suffering from a stroke. This is being reported on MTV. That's where the guys picked this up for us. MTV says that the GPL CEO Bardindial suffered a stroke, and the report went on to say that at the time that Dindial was meeting with a government official when he suffered, he had an event and went into had to be hospitalized at a city hospital, and so our thoughts and prayers, are with him, and we hope he gets well. We got our own views politically and on the management of GPL,
Yeah.
but
as a person,
as a human being,
with family,
as a human
yes.
being, we say,
Yep.
get well soon, Mr. Dinjal, and we really hope that you pull through this. Right? We saw MTV reporting on this issue.
Yes, most definitely. I have to say that also I join in saying I wish him all the best, and I wish him a speedy recovery, and thoughts and prayers are with him at this point in time. As Guyanese, we need to be able to separate very distinctly an individual aspect from their professional work and all of that. So we, like Shar said, we have our bit of concern when it comes to his professional work and all of that. But when it comes to a human life being in danger and all of that, we put all of that aside and we say speedy recovery.
Yeah. What else we got? What else is brewing out there?
Well, the next bit that's brewing, recent retired Trinidadian judge Stanley John to head probe into 2020 elections.
Yeah, interesting. You wouldn't think the CCJ, got one petition they're hearing next month, not next year, not 10 years from now. And then the Court of Appeal locally as well has another petition before it to be heard. But them boys, they don't trust the Court of Appeal. They don't trust the CCJ anymore. I know, they used to run to the CCJ, Sally. Now they're running from the CCJ, they're opening their own court.
Yeah.
Right? They have a COI, and we got some other folks, I think, joining us. Joining Mr. Moore, is it that? Make sure I get it right.
Stanley John.
Mr. John.
Yes.
Some other folks joining Mr. John there. We have retired Justice of Appeal, Stanley John, who's going to be heading this commission. Former Attorney General, High Court Judge and Acting Justice of Appeal of the Eastern Caribbean, Godfrey Smith, Senior Counsel, will be joining also. Former Chair and Chief Elections Commissioner of India, S.Y. Qureshi, I think that's the name, is how it's pronounced, or Qureshi. Former Chancellor Karl Singh as well.
Yeah. Well.
Interesting. I want a COI into Sue. As we on commissions of inquiry, I want a COI on Sue and Sue's dealings and so forth. I want a COI.
Yeah.
The former Chancellor of the Judiciary, Karl Singh, his son is alleged to have spat on a young lady and heard a lot of racial remarks. I love a COI on that too. I love a COI on that to see how that's going. Among some other things, I love a COI.
Yeah. Well, one of the most important things when it comes to this particular COI that I'm going to be looking for is the TORs. The TOR, basically, in terms of reference that they're going to be used and what aspect of the election they're actually going to be looking into and so forth. Because one thing to say that you have these personnel that's going to be looking into this, but I want to see the scope of the investigation altogether for anybody to determine how far it's going to go. I know the players that have been involved that are being listed here, the majority of them not really having a hands-on knowledge of Guyana electoral system altogether. So things that they would take some time to familiarize themselves with and so forth. But most definitely, let's see how that is going to move forward.
Yeah. And again, you saw
I have some concerns. I have some major concerns.
Yeah, and again, initially the vice president had said, vice president and president Jack Liu had said that there will be no COI. Then Irfan, I don't know, said, boss, you can't make it look so bad. Come on. Right?
Yeah.
And now we have the COI on again, off again. But
when it comes to that particular,
Let's see.
the COI, you're seeing the players being named, and there's one thing there's one concern that can come from the players. The actual referee of the match, the referee is being named by someone that benefits from the results of the match altogether. But this particular matter we're going to dive into severely in programs to come. And I'm saying, I'm awaiting the terms of reference that's going to be used for me to identify the scope altogether and how are these persons going to be operating. So let me just leave it as that this morning.
Correct. Interesting times ahead. Where we there now? Where we there?
Well, where are we? We are at the big issue.
We're at the big issue. Correct is right. And again, it's right out there for all to see. Guyana for sale. Sugate rumbles on. That's the big issue. And that press conference yesterday that, again, left more questions than answers. Because the one thing, among a couple other things, the major thing I think went unanswered yesterday is, what do you mean by Sue handles the agreements? And he has all our support? That went unanswered,
You can't.
Sue handles all the agreement, but he has all our support. That went very much unanswered.
One of the things that I believe that people need to look at and hear the level of tongue whipping that was given by the VP as it pertains to, these persons coming in to do these things, basically saying that there are people that is going to come to that will try to do malicious work, not in those words, but that is what was being implied, But then what does it say about his friend?
Yeah.
What does it say about his friend, his friend Sue?
He says Sue's his friend, and I'm very startled by the kinds of friends that these guys have, because the vice president has a friend named Ahmad as well. He spent a lot of time in jail. That's his friend. He said Ahmad is his friend and sent him a lot of I don't know, you remember we had that whole you had building house gate. He said Ahmad had given him a lot of stuff free of cost to help build the house, right? That was his friend. But Ahmad defrauded a lot of people in the US and spent a lot of time behind bar. I think he's out now, though.
Correct.
I think he's out now. He spent a lot of time in the US. Rockers Island, right? Spent a lot of time in Rockers Island. But Jack had another friend too, surname Khan, right? It's your friend, right? Used to work for them doing extra judicial stuff. He spent a lot of time behind bars. How are them friends either on the way to jail or went to jail? The friend got a particular kind of pedigree, right?
Well, we said it.
Right?
Listen, we said this before the sheriff's talking, and I have to interject.
Right.
So we said it. We said prior on
Right.
so many shows before that in order for you to gain the favor of these individuals, the more corrupt you are, the higher your ratings are.
Kwame McCoy was convicted in a competent court in this country. He's a convict. That's what it means to be a convict, have been convicted, right, of assault. Right? He writing now letter recommendation. I, Kwame McCoy, stand by the integrity of Mr. Jackson.
I haven't seen some though. Listen, so yesterday I was being a little facetious to say the least, but I threw out this question like how many statements did you see come out thus far in support of?
I'm not seeing the statements that matter.
That is what I'm saying.
I saw Kwame McCoy, convict Kwame McCoy, his statement. I saw one by just this morning by what's his name, former private sector commission chairman Jerry Govaya. I saw one from him. He had a friend named Gali Khan. That was the fellow's name from the private sector commission, who was an observer in the last election. Yes, he friend Gali Khan now at Rockers Island too. They got these calibers of friends. Either on the way or they have been there.
Who did you
Gali
not see
Khan,
from?
right? I see anything from, for instance, I didn't see any from Ministry of not public security, social security, whatever they call it now. Vindhya Prasad. I ain't see nothing from Vindhya. You know, extolling all the virtues, right? Interestingly, Jerry Gavai is now national security advisor. I ain't see nobody independent. I'd love to see like a Mia Motley, like a Ralph Gonzalez, you know, somebody from this. You know, he said he's a what? He has an international brand. Somebody from the international community. It says this man here. You know, it's somebody. It's Kwame McCoy.
You see
right?
anything
I
from
saw one.
Mia?
I ain't see nothing from Mia. You know, big sister Mia or little sister Mia. Because if she's the big brother, she got the little sister. Little sister Mia write nothing. Like she pen the ink.
You didn't say anything from Ralph?
Ralph nothing. Ralph
Ralph,
Gonzalez
nothing?
nothing from Ralph. You understand? No, I see Kwame. You know what I see?
Who?
Schumann.
Oh wow. Let's get into this.
Shoot us. I saw Schumann wrote saying that, you know, the only thing he said that I worship this man here. Right? In the morning, I got a little statue with here. I was going to put on a mala and so on. And I sing and watch. That's the only thing he said. Right? That's the only thing. And all he had to say, the ending of this, check, I think it's Sabbath News. There's a whole letter by Schumann from Mr. Jack Dio. The things he could have write, but his party. But the indignity that the indigenous people in this country suffering. Right? No. He write a whole long letter.
The human rights issue, the violation
Correct.
of
He
human
write
rights.
nothing, but you know,
Nothing yet.
nothing about what's happening at
Not a word.
at Chinese landing.
Not a word.
Nothing that's happening at Isana Road. Nothing about that. No. He writing about his support. His support. The only thing missing from that letter is this is a paid advertisement. Vote Jack Dio. Local government election. That's the only thing missing from it.
At some point in time, Lennox Schumann forgot that he was supposed to be heading a political party.
You know, if you're earning perhaps $1 million under them as advisor on civil aviation, right? You can get a big letter for sign to. They write them, you know. A letter is sent and says Schumann.
If that's the case, that's a cheap sellout that you do not do that to people.
Schumann sign here.
You do not take
singing for his supper.
But I read some bit of what was written, and it took me back to when I was back in my days at the university, and I can't remember this individual's name, but he was contesting against the PPP administration at that time. He had a small party, same thing like Schumann, up against the PPP, and this man went to the level of the university and took a debate to the stage there. And the only thing he left to say is vote PPP. You know? So when I was reading what Schumann was saying, the only thing Schumann did not say, he just stopped short right there of saying vote PPP. He forgot and everything that he is the head of a political party.
Interesting.
Right? He forgot that. That went through the window. You know the credibility of this injury. So what are you doing there? If these people are so crazy,
in the wrong party.
What are you doing there?
In the wrong party.
Who are you representing?
Folks,
if these people were in tune and they're doing everything right, why are you heading a political
went to start
party?
A whole different political party?
Right? Why did you do that? If these people are so good in tune, why are you there? What is your purpose? But guess what? His days are numbered when it comes to him sitting in the National Assembly. That is what is going on. His days are numbered. His term is almost at an end. So he is trying to basically put his cup, his mouth, his bucket, and everything where he believes the soup is dropping, so that he's going to have an in even when he's out. That is what is going on. Let's not confuse.
He has got accustomed to the big vehicle and the air conditioned office and so on.
My goodness.
Right?
Schumann, disappointed.
Yes, very much so. Very much so. I could imagine how the members of his party, if any of them left, holding their head in shame.
Who are the members
they
of
just got
Schumann's
internal elections and so on.
Schumann appoints himself, elects himself. That's how it appears, you know. I have never really seen, there's one time that I saw other persons with white t-shirts, and it's during the recount. After that, I've never heard of them again.
Interesting.
Right? Non-existent again. So
interesting, folks.
Probably should go looking for these people.
Yep. Well, the vice president spoke about his friend, you know. Sue is front and center in this. Sue calls him the boss, right? He says he's his friend, who gets full support, and he handles the agreements. That's what he said. But here is some other stuff he said about Sue, his friend Sue. Yep. Do we have it?
Matter. Would you prefer me to lie and say he's not my friend? I've known this guy, and like I know a lot of people in this country, I spoke exactly the truth then and in the interview. I said that is so. Being friends with me doesn't mean that you can abuse the friendship, and that's what he had done. Now that I've seen this, the interview and what he said outside of the meeting, even his attempt to say, you know, the guy is clean, and then went off into something else. Now, this was, as I explained to you, Dennis, this was a secret recording, and it was not all contiguous. I don't think they were all contiguous, but throughout it all, that's why I'm giving you the context. Throughout it all, they were trying to, in 15 to 20 minutes, trying to get me to say I would be involved in his business. That is Sue's business to build a hotel and a casino, and that with the investor. And I said no. Through that, you saw that. I don't want to be involved. And I do assist. If that is why every one of those hotels, all 12 of the MOUs and the 18, that we met with every one of those investors. Every one of them, there was a committee that was set up that met with everybody, the entire group of people, all 18 of them. This is not anything unusual. I saw one reporter said, oh, investment is not Jack.
Yeah. Sue is his friend, right? And he said that if he found out Sue was using his name, right, he's gonna think. But Sue says his hands clean, but Sue still styling his name. All in one, it's so bizarre. Sue says his hands clean, but he's styling his name, and he said he's going to be suing Sue, but he can't find him. The man who's live across the road from here, the compound, right? When you compound got a whole road and houses in it that you renting out, you big.
My goodness.
Right? But of course, he saved all the money. Right? And he probably used to sell phone cards to himself. Right? And it is being alleged, believe it or not, I heard, it's being alleged that the rent Sue pays for a house in Jagno compound is about $2 million US a month.
For rent?
That's the allegation that's being made out there.
That's an allegation?
It's an allegation, yes. That up of 1.7 to 2 million US.
That doesn't even make
per
sense.
Month. Right? A man with all of the property holdings. You all know Sue owned Falls gas station on the East Bank. He got logging concession. He got, he deals in fuel and a whole host of other things. Right? You heard in this press conference how Sue is about to open a hotel because that's where he went to carry this investor who's interested in his hotel. Jagno said that it's not a government hotel. It's Sue's personal hotel. He carried the investor to meet Jagno. It's bizarre. And Jagno says, the man got all this money, he has this money, but Sue renting a house in Jagno compound.
Renting. Yeah.
Right? At 1.7, you could rent a house. 1.7 million and so on. You don't take my word for it, Mr. Jagno could make the contract available. He says the bank deals with the contracts, who pays the bank and so on. In the light of credibility and all that and transparency.
Clear name.
Right? Publish the contract. But it's alleged Sue is paying between 1.7 and 2 million US a month in rent. Right? You could stay at every room at the Pegasus, and I think you're paying 2 million US a month to stay. But Sue, that's the allegation that's out there.
Protection, I guess.
2 million.
Probably high-tech security and stuff.
I hear you. You said what? That's consultancy fee, processing fee. Oh. Yeah.
Probably protection. Probably probably have a robot.
Presidential protection. You robot. You gotta get Iron Man himself. Robot you're talking about? Iron Man himself.
If that is anyway true, that's just
Iron Man himself. 2 million.
If that is true, we would all know what that would mean.
Right.
If that's true, that everybody would know what that.
But I'm saying this. This is he said there that if he found that Sue has been taking advantage of this access, Sue's going to be dealt with. Listen to him now talking about people who take advantage of access.
Okay.
In another way.
Let me hear.
Right? And we take it back from the other side. Yep.
The mere fact that we had to set up at the office of the president a unit to follow up on promises made to people and to resolve issues that people face across this country. We have already had on the outreaches over 5,000. I will intervene on a daily basis. The president does so, everyone, just on NIS. NIS might now be my portfolio. On people having a whole range of other issues, public assistance. Public assistance is now my portfolio. When I go out there, I'll make sure that people who are treated unfairly in some other matter. Maybe if they have a housing application, we'd follow up. And that is from the office of the president, from a unit that we set up. That would be seen as intervention in the portfolios of other people. If a businessman come and say, I've had my thing at Go Invest for ages, I'm creating 50 jobs, and I can't get the project through. We'll find out and we'll push it along. It doesn't mean anything illegal is done or for payment. That is how we operate. The PEP is not those sort of government and aloof like the Granger government doing one meeting for a month. Every day we're on the road meeting people, going through solving issues all the time. That's how we operate. So in that process, will people capitalize on it? Yes, there may be a few, but do we stop giving access to people because a few corrupt and unscrupulous people try to rip off others? The answer is no. Yes, yes, Marcel.
So there he's talking about access and people who utilize access, corrupt, unscrupulous people who utilize access to rip off other people, right? He's talking about his friends too, right? How come they know all these corrupt, unscrupulous people, right? Who he renting the house to and so on, right? He says that's his characterization of people who use their access, and you got to pay. You got to pay for access. They say if you want a meeting with the boss, you got to pay, right? You got to pay. He said that is corrupt, unscrupulous people. But that's your friend.
That is correct.
Right? Gali Khan is a friend. Ahmad is a friend. Khan is a friend. That's the kind of friends that they keep. Well, birds of identical plumage assembled together in close proximity, you know.
I know while all of this is happening, and the sad reality is, guys, you know, we have to wind down on this bit because of the protests happening outside that persons need to be a part of. But as you know, with all of this going on, we're talking about allegations of multi-billion-dollar level corruption within a country, you know, especially with our newfound wealth. And at the same time, we have situations in our country to deal with, like the ones that we have been covering here, you know, a mother having to leave her children at home to go work in the dark of night, you know, all of these things, people not having food on their table. This is the reality on the ground with all the overarching corruption in the country, with no accountability and transparency at the top. In a country that has so much resources, a country in which the headline of the state media goes to boast about the GDP and all of that. And people in Guyana, the ordinary Guyanese, is still suffering every single day. That is a fact at hand.
There's a part of the conversation that happened, well, the press conference, in which a reporter asked about the impression that Chinese might have that the government is corrupt, because in the Vice News piece, several persons of Chinese ethnicity, you know, said that the only way to do business is to bribe people.
Correct. Yeah.
But they had their faces covered. The president said, well, Jack News said the same thing, that the police should investigate them to find out
the police should talk to
who
them.
they pay a bribe to. But he said there's a lot of fighting in the Chinese community locally,
yes, that's
right?
what he said.
I had quite a picture of that. But before I show you that, well, I'll save what I want to say next as we close. But take a look at that exchange about this fighting that happens in the Chinese community. According to Jack News, locally.
Do you think that you may have to that the Chinese community may have a certain perception of the government that may not necessarily be accurate in a representation of what is going on. If there were these parts of the interview where you saw Chinese people, their faces were blurred, but they were given certain information that you're saying is contrary to the reality.
Actually, if I think those people who said they had to I think the police should ask them about it. Because if they had to pay any bribe, the police should ask them about it, the ones who were saying this in the video. But I think also there's a subculture there that is, they fight each other a lot in some of these local groups. I can tell you now about 3 or 4 people who've been trying to contact my office. Remember, I told you this at the last press conference, who claim they have MOUs with Chinese companies. They're the local reps for the Chinese companies. And often they're competing for the same things. So they will then have fight and they among each other about who gets what. I've had cause to turn people away just a couple of weeks ago on another set of projects. They come here all the time. And there's a lot of locals, mainly locals. They come with people and say, can you see I have an investor from abroad? And if you don't see them, they say you don't want to reach out, you're aloof now, and all of that. If you see them, you don't know what they tell people. So I think they have a subculture there that thrives on this sort of thing.
Yeah. So that's that. You see, they're fighting. You know, for these things. He blamed it. This is not about him. It's about geopolitical things happening because he didn't side with somebody.
Yeah.
That's why the U.S. trying to set him up here. This is between China and U.S. It's about people who came in the country and went to Surama. It's the opposition that talked, and the opposition put things in their head.
Let's stop right there. Stop
fighting
right
in the
there.
Chinese community.
Stop right there. I
Oh, it's all
forgot
of
that. I forgot that the
Lord.
vice president said
Lord.
that the persons from the opposition was calling to insist that he had this interview. Name them.
Yeah.
Name them.
Yeah. Name
You
the
know?
folks.
Name them. Just
Name
don't
the
say.
folks. Name the folks.
them. Name the opposition person that you have such a lovely relationship with. They're gonna call you and insist on you having this interview.
Yeah.
You name them.
Yeah. You know, and you know, he said he blame Vice News. The same Vice News, if an he should carry to court, should prosecute. Right? He said he don't blame them. He didn't blame them. It's this geopolitical thing, the Chinese and America, China and America. It's about, you know, who went to Surama, who talked with critics. It's about the opposition is Aubrey Norton. It's everybody else. It's big web of conspiracy. Right? But I think it's what he said about Vice News is more startling. I can give you all this as the cherry on top of the ice cream, on top of the cake. Here he said Vice News is not to be blamed. Take this.
But Vice News has to do a program that sells. They're into making money. And what sells globally? As I said in my interview, showing corrupt third world leaders, or alternately, showing China dominating the world. That is good for a US audience. So if you do a story like that, you tend to have a buyer of it. You can make more money. You'd have greater viewership. So I don't blame Vice for that. So they had to show that Guyana is up for sale, and to the Chinese particularly. Although China is not the biggest investor here. In fact, many countries have overtaken China by far now as major investors.
Opposition.
Yeah. So, you know, Vice News looks for corrupt third world leaders.
So says Mr. Jackson.
They look for corrupt third world leaders and they land at his door. What fascinates me is that in this whole intrigue that happens, Vice News, an international organization, a US company, is here. They're looking for corruption. And somebody points them in the direction of Sue. Somebody points them in the direction of Sue. Right? And Sue points them in the direction of Mr. Jaglio. You know?
I think Sue was there
That's
in
starting
that
to me.
direction, you know.
And he said yesterday, that is not the only person Sue has brought to his home.
That is correct. That is correct. That is correct.
Those are not the only persons Sue has brought to his home. You see why a COI is needed? A commission of inquiry is needed. In that same press conference, the vice president says, for instance, people who want hotel concessions and they're into that kind of investment, there's a whole committee set up. And that the committee, have met with those persons.
Yes.
Now, if Sue got investors wanted to invest in his personal hotels, why they meet him with Jaglio? And now with the committee. Unless he's the whole committee by himself. Interesting. More questions and answers coming out of Sugate.
That
Rumbles on.
That's correct. That is
Rumbles
correct.
on.
And we have to go back to what has been made public thus far.
Yeah.
And in the Vice News piece that was aired, the reporter was saying when they went on the cover, herself being the secretary to the businessman that went on the cover, and she was saying in that little piece of documentary there that they were directed to say that they can get prime real estate basically for hotels to do hotel, and that was something that they say, okay, well, they could be interested in that particular one. But then you heard a completely different story that was coming over from that press conference yesterday, in which the VP was saying that this was Sue's business, you know, not the company coming to set up business and is given the idea that they can get preferential treatment to primary real estate and all of that. So
a
lot for us to
we
look
big.
at. Yep.
Finally, I will say, the vice president, when pressed yesterday in that press conference, says that this thing has damaged his credibility, his global brand, according to him. Right? And this man has caused him this kind of hurt and dislocation. But he will not criminally charge him. And as a foreigner, he will not deport him. Wow.
I don't think he could deport somebody you can't find.
Wow. He will not criminally charge him, and he will not deport him.
And the big question is, where is Sue? Where is Sue right now?
Sue?
We're going to continue to press on that because that should not be a question right now.
Yeah. You know, we got hundreds of persons watching us, but majority of the guys are telling us the shares. They say, y'all, we're looking 10 this morning with the shares. We want others to get valid and credible information. Right? So make the shares look good, folks. Also, we need you guys to partner with us so we can keep doing what we're doing. I hope you all are seeing that the quality has been steadily improving. Our audio, our lighting is improving. Folks, everything that we receive, thanks to your generosity, publicly funding us, goes back into these programs to keep the lights on or to bring more lights. And also to improve what we do here, folks. It takes a couple of people to pull this together every day, morning, noon, and night. And even on the weekends, every day, folks, we out here. It takes something. And so we thank you for your generosity. We thank you for your support. We feel that love. We got Cash App available, Zelle, PayPal, MMG. We're available via MoneyGram and via Western Union as well. You want to know how you guys can contribute? Everything, guys. Small and nothing large comes in. So all of it goes back into these programs, keeping you guys informed. Informed citizens make informed decisions. That's what we're about, folks. That is what we're about. 627-6963 is our WhatsApp number. We can give you some guidance if you want to make a donation. You don't already know how. And we thank those persons who have been contributing in your own way to the program. We're really, really grateful, and we feel that love. Thank you so much. That is we time. That's we time.
That is correct, guys. So you know what you have to do. Make sure that you share for all of those who did not share as yet. Make sure that you share. It's absolutely important. Make sure that you do your part there. I am insisting this morning that you have the information shared, and also that you know what you have to do at 12. Be back for Below the Belt, and then again this evening at 8 p.m. Ring. Do your part. We continue to do our part, and see you guys. All the folks that can see you guys on the process.
Heading out there, folks. Heading out there. Thanks for staying with us.